After some calls from the community about substituting handspun in knitting patterns, I found myself thinking about this more and more. Most knitting patterns out there, with the exception of just a few, are written with specific commercial yarns in mind. This makes it very difficult to substitute just any yarn in a pattern, as the substitution in and of itself changes the overall project results. We can learn this by reflecting on what makes handspun yarn unique, and also to match it to commercial yarns. I believe that as we gain knowledge in our making, the trick becomes learning what works when substituting yarns and what does not. Recently, I knit Melanie Berg's beautiful pattern Sparks of Grey, which is an oversized large shawl featuring 2 yarns. In her version, it called for 2 colors of gray. Rather than following the example of her sample, I chose to deviate with a cream commercial yarn and a skein of handspun that featured many colors, a small amount of striping, and some barber poling. The choices that I made in the planning stages of my project worked for 2 reasons. First, the gauge of my yarns matched that of the written pattern, so the overall dimensions were preserved. Second, the 2 yarns that I chose did not compete with one another for attention. The commercial cream yarn sets off the handspun yarn because there is no competing texture or colors that distract the eye. If the cream yarn had been heavily barber poled or textured, it would have been difficult to tell which yarn was which, resulting in the stitch pattern, the sparks, being completely lost. Instead, they are highlighted rather than detracted from. Yarn can detract from or enhance an underlying stitch pattern. The texture of the yarn can be challenging if not spun consistently. Sometimes knitting patterns can help us to hide some of these imperfections, as evidenced in my recent cardigan designed by Isabel Kramer, the Marie Chen. Note the overall appearance of consistently spun yarn that enhances the stitch patterning and does not detract from it in any way. Because designers work with a specific yarn for a knitting pattern, it can be challenging to substitute handspun yarns. Look at your projects that have worked out well and think about why that is the case. If you are interested in discussing this topic further, please comment below with your own thoughts, ideas, and questions so that we can fully flush out this topic.